to introduce our speaker for this session, who is Lisa Gevelber, who is the head of marketing for Google in the Americas. And Lisa joined Google in January of 2010, and she runs marketing for the Americas region. She started her marketing career at P&G, and she has 20 years of marketing experience. So during Google, her time at prior to Google, sorry, she served as VP of Product Management and General Manager at Intuit. I happen to know that the General Manager role of Intuit in Canada is up for grabs right now, so if anybody is interested in it, you should ask Lisa what that role is like. So during her time there, she led a team across marketing, product management, sales, and engineering, and she was awarded 2 leadership roles, 2 CEO leadership roles, and is the inventor on a patent, which I think is pretty cool. Most recently, she served as VP of Marketing, Sales, and Business Development at Polyvore, which is the world's largest online fashion community. And you're looking very good, so I can see that is true. And she's also worked at startups such as Greenlight.com. So on the personal side, she's an extensive world traveler. She has participated in the Dalai Lama's annual teach-in. And she is the proud mom of 2 girls. Please welcome Lisa Gevelber.
Thank you, Tammy.
I am so excited to be here because while I've been in Silicon Valley for about a dozen years, I started my career in marketing at P&G on the Cheer brand. I was the assistant brand manager on the Cheer brand. And believe it or not, my bullpen mate from 20 years ago is right here in the audience. I just ran into him, and he does look the same as he looked 20 years ago. So I learned a lot of things at P&G, and I take a lot of those things with me. I've taken them with me on my career journey. I was just giving a talk to the Google folks in Canada, and I was sharing some of the things I've learned at P&G. So what I was hoping to do today is maybe share some of the things with you guys that I've learned at Google, and share with you maybe the 5 principles that we use in marketing at Google, and give some really fun examples of how we do that. So I should start by saying that Google was founded and is still run by engineers. And that really shapes everything we do, because engineers think about really complicated problems, but they do it by asking very simple questions. Kind of the adult version of what my kids ask, but why? Why should it be that way? Why does it have to be that way? And this kind of very simple thinking and asking challenging questions is also the foundation of how we do marketing at Google. So we do marketing like we do software development. It's really data-driven, user-focused, fast, and iterative. And I'm going to show you a bunch of our marketing examples today. So let me start with my 5 principles. Let's see. We're going to talk today about how we focus on one user. Ideas come from everywhere. Float all boats, take risks, and make it matter. And I'm going to start by talking about the world as it is today. Oh, you can't see that map. Does it work on the other screens? Not so well, huh? All right.
Can dim the lights.
It's actually a very cool picture that you can't see. This is a map of the world on a day in December, right after we launched the Android Galaxy S, which is one of our Android phones. And the world looked a lot different, even a year before this picture was taken. We now activate over 400,000 Android phones a day around the world. It's a little better. It's okay. So 5 billion people today use mobile phones. 3/4 of those people live in the developing world. By 2020, 10 billion people will be using mobile phones. Yeah, and I think this really has huge impact on a couple of things. One is actually content generation on the phone and on the web. So I get to bring these really astounding figures with me. There are 800 exabytes of digital information in the world today. Music, text, video, all the content that we know and care about. I gave a talk just a few months ago, and I was saying that there were 25 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. That was just a few months ago. The number now is 48 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. It's a lot of content. There were 5 exabytes of data in all the world in 2003. We now generate that amount of information every 2 days. And so that's why things like search engines are very useful to help us get through all that information. Speed is going to be an increasing factor as well. By 2020, we should be able to access information at 1 gigabyte a second. For perspective, that's 500 times the speed of the internet in the US today. Maybe about 2,000 times the speed of the internet at this hotel. But as you can imagine, this changing world means people have lots of choices. And we at Google believe that one of our jobs is to help people sort through those choices and make things super easy for them. And so, we think about things like, does your mother know what cloud computing is? Does she know what a web browser is and why it matters which one you choose? And so we believe our job as marketers is to help educate consumers, because when they're educated, everybody wins. So let's start with the first of our principles. Let's focus on one real user. So when you think about all these billions of people and this dramatic amount of data, it's really easy to get lost in it. So at Google, what we try to do is just focus on one real user and what their needs are, and focus our messaging and our marketing down to one very simple message. I'm going to tell a story and show an example from our creative lab. Our creative lab is kind of our internal creative shop, and the guy who runs it is a guy named Andy Burnt. He's one of my favorite people in the world, and I think one of the things that makes him such a genius is that he never ever talks in marketing speak, right? He only talks in lay speak, and I call it like over the beer speak, right? The way you would talk over a beer, because that's, I think, how messaging works best, when you can talk to people in the way that they're used to having a conversation. So his second principle is that just because you've bought media doesn't mean you deserve someone's attention. You have to earn that attention by delivering value to them. So we try to deliver value in everything we do. And when we thought even about search, we thought, how can we make search fun and interesting? How can we put a little unexpected spark to it? So we created what I'm about to show you. It's called Google a Day. This is just one example. We basically made a little trivia contest. We call it a Google a Day, where people, and it's in the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, it's kind of a little puzzle that you have to actually use search to figure out. And we've had we just started doing this, we've had tons of consumer engagement around it. We also realize that sometimes people use our products and get benefits from them in ways we wouldn't even have imagined, and that real people can tell the stories of our products better than we ever could. So we created something called Demo Slam that I want to show you. And the way Demo Slam worked is we challenged the world to put up short videos about their favorite thing, their favorite feature or Google product. And then we ran a contest and people voted. As a matter of fact, people uploaded videos from all over the world, and these videos were viewed 250 million times. That's about 2 times the audience of the Super Bowl. And I thought there's so many great ones. I only have time to show you one, but I'm going to show you one of my very favorite videos.
With Google Goggles, you can search with pictures. So today, what we're going to try to do is recreate Mount Rushmore and see if Google Goggles recognizes it. First piece, we're going to make his hair around, right?
I'm just going to add a few strips to your head.
Further? Bring your face further in. Okay. Teddy, perfect. Lincoln, awesome. It looks good to me. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. Good. Did it work? Not yet. All right. We're missing something. Ready? Furrow brows, presidential. Guys, it worked! Mount Rushmore.
guys can check out many more hilarious ones of those videos. Just go to YouTube and type in Demo Slam. So almost, not quite exactly Mount Rushmore, but you got to see it with a lot less driving, I suppose. So you can see good ideas come from everywhere, and that's actually our next principle. We actually run an internal marketing contest at Google. We let all the marketers kind of brainstorm ideas. We bring them to what we call Dragon's Den, which is kind of named after a British TV show, and everyone gets to come and pitch their ideas, and then we pick some of the best. And I want to share with you some of the most amazing ideas that came from young kids actually in the marketing department. The first one is called Life in a Day, and it's from a guy, I think he's like 24 years old. His name is Tim. And he said, boy, what if we could create a documentary about a day in the life of the world? And we could have people all over the world submit short videos from July 24th, 2010. And then we make a film out of it. And so we did. We got 80,000 video submissions from all over the world. We made this movie. Tim was listed as a co-producer of the film with Ridley Scott, and it aired at the Sundance Film Festival this year. It was viewed that night by 13 million people. That was the first ever at Sundance, and we're actually going to be showing it in select theaters in the US this summer. So I'm going to show you a little trailer of that movie. Cool, huh? Scares me every time I watch her do that. Mm-hmm. I have daughters. The next example is also of good ideas come from everywhere, and it's actually a project that came out of our 20% time, which is something that Google started, I think, since the beginning, which is that you get the equivalent of a day a week to dedicate to some idea you have that's not related to your day job. And this idea is called the Google Art Project, and it was also from a marketer who dreamed of bringing the beauty of the, in his case, Madrid's Prado Art Gallery to the world, and realized that while there are lots of people who have access to wonderful art in their communities, there's an awful lot of people in the world who don't. And he wanted to bring the world's greatest masterpieces even to a child in India who would never get to any of these beautiful galleries. So he created the Google Art Project, and what we did is we brought Google technology to the table. We used Street View technology so that you can actually walk around the museums. You can actually even walk around them faster than you actually can in real life because you can click on the floor plans and just move from room to room. We digitized the pictures of these masterpieces at 1,000, or using gigapixel technology, which is about 1,000 times more magnified than you can get on a typical digital camera. And what that means is that you can see the actual brush strokes. So it's almost like better, if you will, than even being there in person. So let me show you what it looks like. It's a really magical thing to experience, but I think it's even more magical to share because we made it so that you can actually create your own gallery. So you can take your favorite pieces from museums all over the world and create your own little online museum and share it with your friends. 60,000 of those were created in the first month that we did this project. It's also kind of brought the world of art together. I think a lot of museums were initially really reluctant to do it. And then they realized that they are actually reaching audiences they would never be able to reach. We worked with 17 different museums who had never collaborated together in the past before. So, and all of that was done in this 20% time. So the next principle is float all boats. And I want to show an ad campaign. Maybe some of you guys have seen this. We don't do a ton of advertising of our advertising products. But we realized that the world of display advertising online was really misunderstood. Everyone still kind of had in their head, if you will, cheesy banners from the long ago past. And they didn't really realize how you can bring to life amazing video and interactive experiences in display advertising. So we decided to make a campaign, but instead of making it about us and about Google products, we made it about the magic of display advertising and what was possible. And I think that it raised all boats, if you will, in the industry by doing so. We also realized that people, and especially creatives, sometimes don't realize all the things you can do with digital technology. So we created something called Creative Sandbox that we take around the country to agencies. And we call it Sandbox. It's supposed to be fun, and it lets people really play with technology. But it also inspires them by showing them cool things that other people are doing digitally, and I'll show you a little snippet of it. Just stop it there. It goes on forever. But I think our experience has been that when you get to show the possibility of the entire world of advertising and digital advertising specifically, it makes it better for everyone. So my next principle is take risks and say yes. As you can imagine, with all of this world of crazy and wonderful ideas, the key to my job and to jobs of the other leaders of marketing at Google, I think, is to identify the good ones, right? To figure out what to say yes to. And it's always easier to say no. And sometimes you have to be extra courageous to say yes. And I want to talk a little bit about one of the things we've done that I think is very unusual, which is that we let people play with our brand. So we believe that people will have a better engagement with the brand if we let them touch it and get close to it. So we actually let people scribble all over our logo. We call it Doodle for Google. I'll show you an example of what it looks like. Oops. So we hold a contest every year for kids, and we let them design the Google logo. We also mess with the logo ourselves. We have these things called doodles. You guys have probably seen them, where we let professional artists do themes. But we also decided to give it to the land of kids. And we have a theme every year that they design to. This year's theme was what I'd like to do someday. And this is one of the winners. It was done by a second grader. Can you believe that? I know, isn't that crazy? I have a first grader and third grader. They never could have done that. It was done by second grader Mateo Lopez in San Francisco. And I want to read to you exactly what he wrote. His inspiration for his doodle, which he called Space Life, was Neil Armstrong. And he wrote that his dream is to meet other people in different planets and go to planets I haven't been to. I've only been to Earth. It's very cute. We also do the most amazing, I think, outsourcing or open sourcing, if you will, of our brand in the Android world. This little green Android guy is actually Creative Commons. You can actually do anything you want with him, which the first time people told me that, I didn't actually believe, so I made them go double check, and it's true. You can do anything you want. And we decided we wanted to empower people to do anything they wanted with this little green guy. So we created an Android app called Androidify, and you can take that little green guy and you can customize it to be you or your friend or anyone you'd like. You can resize it, reshape it, make any sort of design. The one in the middle is obviously me. My team made me this, this Android and sent it to me. And then they came up to me and they said, well, you know, we were a little nervous because we weren't sure you were going to like the Michael Jackson glove. And I was like, are you kidding? I love the Michael Jackson glove. It's the fishnet stockings I didn't really love. But anyway, you can imagine that it is all sorts of fun. And I think I have a number here on how many people have done this. Over 5 million installs of the app since we launched it just a few months ago. The next example is marketing the Chrome browser. Have you guys heard of the Chrome browser? Marketing a browser, does that sound like fun?